gas, no brake.
And now we have liftoff. Welcome to the Now We Have Liftoff New York Jets podcast. And of course, I'm your host, John June. And without a doubt, on this wonderful Tuesday evening, got to have my guy, Frank Jim Piccolo. Frank, what's good, man?
What's goody, bro? How we feeling?
Hey, man, you know, it's bittersweet coming off of vacation. So feeling refreshed, feeling ready to go, but also coming off of another Jets loss here where we have to endure some things that we've already endured. So as we always do, we're going to recap this game. There's no game to look ahead to because the Jets are on bye. We still will do our locks of the week. We'll actually get 2 picks from us each. And so we're going to, rock and roll this thing, man, and, get ready to go here. Breaking down the game, obviously, against the Atlanta Falcons, which took place in London. And we thought this was a game where the Jets could actually win it. The Atlanta Falcons have been one of the worst teams in the NFL through 4 weeks. And so, we thought this is a game, obviously, the Jets coming off a win against Tennessee where they could take this one. But unfortunately, has been the case. They've been coming out flat. Through the first half of the season, the first half of these games. And so it's been the same story, it seems, but it was a little disheartening to see that happen in this game in London, especially when you heard all the stuff that Salah was talking about in terms of the preparation and the things that they would do to go out and play well in London, and to see them come out flat, which has basically, again, been the story for them. Frank, what are your thoughts there?
Like Salah again with the practice talk. I'm kind of getting tired of it. But like when me and you talked like right after the Tennessee game, we both kind of had a feeling that this could be like a possibility. And then as we were recording the podcast last week, we kind of got carried away with the excitement and the feel good feelings that came away with, like, because that was, like we talked about last week, that was a really good Jets win that the Jets had to go through. They had a lot of adversity that they had to overcome to win that game. So I think we kind of got carried away and not have to realize, again, this is a young team, again, that they're going to struggle coming out of the gate. And I think Salah said it, last week, that they have to learn how not to lose before they learn how to win.
Yeah, man. I mean, on that note, with the perfect practices, and we've been here. We heard that from Rex all the time too, right? Like, I don't want to hear about, like, what did Bill Parcells say? Don't talk about the labor, just show me the baby. Like, I don't want to hear about how great of a practice you've had. Just show me how great of a practice you had. I mean, but we've got to find out. Salah's got to find out why are they coming out so flat in the first half all the time. I mean, it's been the story.
It's just the offense.
Carolina.
Yeah, this week it was both sides of the ball, but it's been just the offense primarily.
No, definitely. The offense, for whatever reason, comes out flat in the first half. Carolina game, even the Tennessee game, which they won, and then now this game against Atlanta, where they come out flat in the first half and they come back surging in the second half. Obviously, Tennessee, they end up winning that game. So it's like, what happens if you can put together 2 good halves of football, right? 4 full quarters of football. What could this team really look like? And I think, to me, them being the youngest team in the league, that definitely has some impact there.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that you have JFM covering Kyle Pitts in the end zone.
We will get to that one in a second, but as we always do, I want to talk about the rookie, the man, which with this season, I mean, look, the Jets can go 1-16, 2-15, and the only thing anybody will care about is, how did Zach Wilson play? what does Zach Wilson look like? And he did not play a good game at all. I mean, this was probably, outside of the New England game, this was probably one of his worst games. If you obviously you count the second half and the comeback and everything, but um, you know, missed some wide open screen passes, just completely dirted them. At one point, hits Morgan Moses in the back. There was a few other just a terrible interception, on a poorly placed ball. So, to me, it was definitely one of his worst games, and that's not encouraging to see coming off one of his best games of the season. You want to see that play continue.
Yeah, and he talked about it today in his presser that he's forcing the ball, and when he said he's forcing the ball, he's aiming his throws, and he's not the type of quarterback that can aim his throws. He's just got to let it loose because he's got such a live arm, and by him aiming it, they're gonna be off target. Pitchers have that problem all the time where they're trying to aim their pitches and it goes all over the place where they have no control. So if I think he needs us playing more loose, and I think that is going to fall on LaFleur. He's got to call plays where Wilson feels more comfortable. Like, I know they want to tell Wilson that he needs to play more boring football, but I just think that's going to come with time. I think right now you just got to let the kid go. Just let him go and roll him out and let him play backyard football for right now. And then next year in the offseason, we got a full offseason. That's when you work on it. Not now. Everything's shortened. The offensive line is mismatched. Makai's hurt. Fant is over at left tackle. You got Moses at right tackle. The center and right guard is absolutely terrible. So until that gets fixed, you're not going to be able to play him like a traditional quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to see some more creativity. Again, I've been talking about it almost ad nauseum. I talk about it every week. This kid needs to run the football more. And I'm not talking about scrambles or moving him in the pocket. I'm talking about some design quarterback runs, some read option, some zone read, some RPOs, right? Like, how come that's not, this was something that he had done at BYU, and this was something that he was expected to continue to do in the NFL, and we haven't seen much of it. Where is getting Elijah Moore in space? Obviously we saw they try to set up a bubble screen to Jamisoncrowder and Zach Wilson dirts it, but we've got to be able to see some of these, again, these layups, and that's what I talk about all the time, especially with these young quarterbacks, is you got to give them some layups first. So, and you help build that confidence and let them get to that point where, they know that hey, I've got the check down to the back, or I've got this easy slant route, or this bubble screen here, or, we can run a little RPO to hold the pass rush a little bit. So you can open up those big plays and those big play opportunities down the field. And look what happens 2 weeks in a row. We throw the ball down the field. You get a pass interference call that puts you into scoring position, right? This week it was Elijah Moore. Last week it was Correydavis. So I think that you have to take advantage of the rules and the way the NFL is set up towards the offense, and the advantage is on the offensive side, where you are afforded the right to be aggressive, and the defense will most likely get penalized for it. So I'd like to see some more aggressiveness there, some more creativity there. One of the things I definitely would like to see out of the bye week, and we saw some of that this week. I mean, Michael Carter led the Jets backfield with 13 touches. Then he had 10 rush attempts. Ty Johnson was second with 4. Tevin Coleman third with 3. So I think that I would like to personally see more Michael Carter out of the bye week, and I think that the bye week is the perfect time to get him well more incorporated into this offense. I often reference it in, playing fantasy football. Hey, watch out for these rookies out of the bye. This is a good time for coaches to start incorporating them in the offense, finding what plays, they like to run with them, and really building a package of plays, or not, just even an offense around that player. So I would like to see that with Michael Carter, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility either.
Yeah, I've been saying it for 2 weeks, is that Michael Carter needs to be the feature back for the Jets, just the way he runs the ball, the way he catches the ball out of the backfield. But more than that, out of the bye, they need to find a way to start feeding the ball to elijahmoore. Like you talked about a screen to Jamisoncrowder. They ran a little bubble screen to Braxton Berrios. I don't need to see Braxton Berrios getting a bubble screen or any type of screen. Let's put the ball into our most elusive playmakers' hands. And I like elijahmoore was tearing it up in preseason, not preseason, in training camp before he got that quad injury. And I know they like to do that ramp up period, but after the bye, his ramp up should be at 100%. Like I want to see what this kid can do. Like I want to see. And the more that he can do is going to open it up for everybody else. Like, I'm not even too worried about right now with denzelmims. I'm more concerned about feeding elijahmoore because I think he has the potential to be the best receiver in that room.
I mean, from everything we've heard, friend of the show, DJ Bienemy, came on here and he talked about how special Elijahmoore is and could be in the amounts of, the separation that he creates. And I think, again, his time is coming. Zach Wilson actually said those exact words today, that his time is coming and that he will be incorporated into the offense. I would definitely like to see that for sure. Like you were saying, getting him on some jet sweeps, getting him on those bubble screens, those quick passes, just, again, getting him some layups, getting Zach Wilson some layups. Because, again, he's one of the best yards after catch receivers that was coming out of college, and we haven't seen him with many yards after catch opportunities. It's funny because when he was coming out of Ole Miss, he got pigeonholed, people, analysts pigeonholed him as this guy who can only play in the slot. And it's like the Jets are going so hard to fight that narrative, whereas like they don't want to play elijahmoore in the slot. Like he's strictly an outside, deep ball receiver.
And it feels like they're doing the same thing with Zach Wilson. Like he's this quarterback that breaks the pocket, makes all these plays on the run, and they're trying to pigeonhole him into this, I don't know, with Vinny Testaverde role where he's going to do 5 to 7 step drops and bullet the ball down the field, when that's not, yeah, he can do it, but is that what he does best? Is that what best suits his team? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, some more creativity there would be nice, right? I'm not going to complain about shots down the field, right? But at the same time, like to your point, if he's sitting in the same spot, like I thought this Shanahan offense was about moving the pocket, rolling the quarterback out, putting him on a platform to throw the football. Like look at the drops that Jimmy G takes or Trey Lance takes. Like they're rolling out, they're getting to a spot, and they're like, okay, this is my launching point, right? Like the Jets, like you said, they don't roll them out. It's just play action, straight back drops, 5-7 steps. And now he's looking down the field. And the offensive line, did play relatively well, especially Elijah Veratucker, who has been coming on these last few weeks. He's leading that offensive line in a sense right now. But when you look at how they've played, and hopefully these receivers can start creating more separation. A guy like denzelmims, like you mentioned, he's somebody I would like to see get more involved. I've been talking about it every time this dude, again, 2 targets, 27, 1 catch, 27 yards. Like every time, all he does is make big plays down the field. And like, that's not a bad thing to have. So let's find a way to get him more involved in the offense, right? So, I'm hoping that they use this bye week to self-scout, to really learn about themselves, especially offense, right? We talk about this every week. The defense is not the problem here. I mean, they were part of the problem this week for sure. They definitely had their fair share of contributions, but they're not the problem here. And I think that getting this offense squared away will help this defense out, because this defense is on the field, especially in the first half of games where the Jets aren't converting first downs. They're not there. They'll run like I think 12. They ran 12 plays, I think, in their first 4 drives or something like that. So, having the opportunity to stay on the field or to stay off the field as a defense and get rest, make adjustments, rotate this defensive line in and out, keep those guys fresh. I think overall will help the defense as a whole.
Yeah, and you were just talking about rotating the defensive lineman. There's one person that I cannot stand every time he comes onto the field, and that is Nathan Shepard. If he has one more penalty, I swear on everything that I love, I'm going to go through my TV screen and rip his eyes out. It just aggravates me so much. Like, I can't take it anymore. Like, that late hit on Matt Ryan, what were you doing? What are you doing? How did you think that was a good football play? Like, that's something that you teach 8-year-olds not to do. It was like, pass is gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to hit him at the knees. Come on.
And the thing is like, this is a guy that does this all the time. And you would love to see the Jets coaching staff get to a point where it's like, yeah, you're not going to play. You're just not going to be on the field if you continue to make these mistakes. Because whether it's roughing the passer, an offside penalty, or I think he got a defensive holding 2 weeks ago. Like,
how does a D lineman get a defensive holding? Like, I understand how it happens, but it shouldn't happen. Like, it shouldn't. Like, I just get so frustrated watching him. Like, and he doesn't have any wow plays that makes him like invaluable.
He's a very solid, like, rotational defensive lineman.
Yeah,
like,
but exactly. But that doesn't. If you're gonna have these
he's
type
not
of
worth.
No. Like, you're not Quinnen. You're not even JFM. So
like, Quinnen got a defensive holding, and I didn't care. Right? Like,
exactly, because the positives outweigh the negatives, but they don't with Nathan Shepard. Like, you're not Aaron Donald, you're not Quinnen, you're not JFM, you're not even Foley. So either stop or you're cut. Like, that is what I really would like to see during this bye week. I'd like to see Nathan Shepard cut and the Jets to start playing Marshall in his place.
I mean, honestly, if they could just, cutting is cool, but if they could just, I said to you, if they trade him for anything, like, I would take like a 2024, like, 7th round pick for Nathan Shepard.
I'd take a penny from 1996 for Nathan Shepard at this point.
Yeah, man. I mean, this defense otherwise is playing well. JFM, you talked about that. Like, I understand it was a goal line defense, and I'm talking about the Kyle Pitts touchdown. I understand it was a goal line defense. I understand that JFM was the end man on the line of scrimmage. But if there is a play call where JFM is lined up in coverage against Kyle Pitts, it's a bad play call. Like kill it, call timeout, like have CJ Mosley switch with him, do something, anything in that moment to not have JFM being the guy between Kyle Pitts and a touchdown pass. Like, that shouldn't happen. And so I get it. I understand that there's Kyle Pitts, when he lines up, should not be treated as a tight end. I don't care what it is. He's on the field. He should just be counted as a wide receiver all the time. That's what should have been the case. But however, we end up with JFM now being forever ingrained. Whenever they show Kyle Pitts' first touchdown in the NFL ever, all Jet fans are going to look at that and say, why is JFM the guy in coverage? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And it sucks for him because he just signed that contract extension, and the next week they have him covering Kyle Pitts. Like, That's the stuff that Rex did with Sheldon that used to drive me insane. Like, what are we doing? He's a D lineman, and not even like a D end. Like, you could see Carl Lawson possibly doing that because he's got the body type, maybe. But are we next week? Are we gonna have Quinnen covering Hunter Henry on a pass? Is that what we're gonna see?
And then they had another one, Brycehuff on Hayden Hurst, and I'm like, what is this?
But see, that's okay.
I could
live with that.
Okay, because you got the body type and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But, like, again, after seeing
but wasn't this defense supposed to be NASCAR? Let these guys loose, get after the quarterback. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're missing. Obviously, I think they thought that they would get more from Hamza, and now he's on IR with a hamstring injury. I think it is. Jamie and Sherwood playing a little bit better now, so I think one of these former safeties can play better in coverage. That would be nice. We know that's not really Quincywilliams is a see ball get ball kind of guy. CJ Mosley's he's been pretty solid. He's been great all year. He's been solid in coverage as he always is. So, I'd be curious to see how this defense continues to evolve. Ashton Davis is getting more playing time, which, again,
he looked solid on Sunday. He looked solid on Sunday. He looked like he's getting his feet back underneath him.
Yeah, he looked pretty good out there. Only played 47% of the snaps on defense. Again, he's a guy I feel like is getting ramped up. Has not played football since I don't even know. Did he finish the year last year? I don't remember. But Ashton Davis is, he was playing a lot of that in the box safety role, playing as that weak side linebacker almost. So I think that's a role that the Jets think that he can play well. And I don't anything else on the defensive side of the ball, Frank, that really sticks out to you.
No, just that Jared Davis supposedly is supposed to come back after the bye.
That would be very interesting to see what happens because I'm curious.
I can't have all three of them on the field at the same time.
No, you can't.
You're probably
when we say all three to the fans, we're talking Mosley, Quincywilliams, and Jared Davis.
Yeah, you're probably seeing Quincywilliams spell Jared Davis, but they'll probably have a ramp-up period for Jared Davis.
Honestly, though, I think that they're at a point where, you're going to get the ramp-up period with Jared Davis, but, if Quincywilliams continues to play well, I think that you'll just see Quincywilliams out the field because this is the same – again, Salah comes from he's coming from a Niners team where they had Quan Alexander, who was a big free agent signing for them. And he, ends up injured, doesn't, misses some time. Dre Greenlaw steps in and never relinquishes that starting job to Quan Alexander. So I think that, this is a coaching staff that's not going to be afraid of playing the guy who's on the cheaper deal.
No, they don't care. They're gonna play who's ever playing the best, who they feel is going to give them the best opportunity to win.
Unless it's Denzelmims. How about
I can't.
Mekhi Becton?
I can't. This is what I want from Mekhi. Shut up until you play. How about that? Shut up until you play. Look, I can't with him.
No, Mekhi.
I love Mekhi.
Keep talking. Keep talking your noise, bro. I love it. He's not talking to anybody, right? He's not bad mouthing edge rushers.
I'd rather that. How about you bad rush some edge rushers?
Bad rush some edge rushers?
Yeah, that sounded terrible. It did. But see what happened. But I can't take Mekhi Becton seriously because he's like a porcelain glass doll. You blow on him and he gets another injury.
Hey man, you try being 6'8" and almost 400 pounds, and as athletic as him.
Okay, well, how about we lose a little bit of weight? Not saying that we can talk because But that's your job. That is his job.
Hey man, he says he has paid professionals and paid nutritionists and whatnot that tell him that his to keep playing at the weight he's at.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, maybe it's not working. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm not a professional. I don't get paid to do that. I barely get paid to do this. So
Oh, you getting paid to do this?
About that.
Oh, we gotta talk off air.
But in all seriousness, man, somebody is sponsoring us to host this show. So without further ado, this next segment is brought to you by DraftKings, and my boy Frank is going to break it down for you real quick.
Yeah, this next segment where we're going to break down the picks is brought to you by DraftKings. Another week of the NFL season means another shot to win big at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet just $1 on any NFL game and win $100 in free bets. If either team wins or scores 1 point, the last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in 1943, so I'd say this is a no-brainer. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state, don't fret. DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long, and with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. DraftKings is giving all customers a free shot at millions upon millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Throw down $1 on any NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. That's promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And now the bills have been paid. So excuse me. So without further ado, we are going to jump into these picks. Obviously, the Jets do not play a game this week. They are on bye, which is bittersweet, right? The Jets can't lose, obviously, which is a good thing. But we're going to sit around all day, all weekend, and the Jets won't play. But at least we get our bye week out of the way early, and we're going to have 11 consecutive weeks. Is that right?
Your math right on that? There's 17 weeks.
12 consecutive weeks.
Oh, I'm holding you to the fire on that one.
Hey man,
you're the professional. You're the professional here.
I can't be right all the time, Frank. It's a tough world we're living in. But but 12 consecutive weeks of Jets football. So that's going to be fantastic there. But obviously we're gonna break down some games here. We're gonna talk about our locks, because as we do this every week, we take our bets. And I lost both. Well, I lost the Jets game because I picked the Jets to win and they lost. So that's what happens when I pick with my heart, not my head. But this week, continuing to break it down heavy. Last week, I got the Tampa Bay Bucks as my lock over the Miami Dolphins. They covered that 10.5 pretty handedly there, Frank. So this week, I have to go with the LA Rams. They get to go up against the New York Giants, and they are 10.5-point favorites according to DraftKings Sportsbook. And I think potentially no Daniel Jones here, no Saquon Barkley. It might get ugly.
It could get ugly because that offensive line is very bad for the Giants. Galladay's hurt. Barkley's hurt. This is a game where Daniel Jones could get his face beaten in.
I mean, Daniel Jones might not even play again because he's in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So he might not even play. Mike Glennon is the backup there.
Oof. I like him as a person, but he's not a good quarterback.
Nope. Unfortunately, those two things don't necessarily have to go hand in hand, but it helps. But Frank, who is going to be your first lock this week?
I am going to take my team of the year, the Cardinals over the Browns.
That is your team.
That is. Why'd you give me the face? What was the face for?
Because I was like, your team of the year. I was like, what? Who is this?
Oh, do we not remember our bet from the beginning of the year?
I mean, yeah, but I didn't know that you adopted them as your team.
Oh, no. As soon as they started doing well, they became my team of the year. You know how I work.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. They're according to DraftKings, they're +3 on the line. But I'm just going to take them straight up. I think they're going to beat the Browns.
Yeah, that line came out. When that line came out, I was a little taken aback. I know Kevin Stefanski's pretty good after a loss. He usually doesn't lose after a loss. He's at home. You got a West Coast team traveling east. But I think Arizona, when that line initially came out, I was like, how are they not favored? And obviously, thought about it a little bit. For my lock, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos -3.5 over the Las Vegas Raiders. And the reason for that one is we obviously know the Jon Gruden situation. He's resigned from the Las Vegas Raiders due to some old emails in which he used some language and terms that are offensive to basically every group that you can imagine.
He didn't single one group out. He went after everybody. He just started spraying.
Yeah. So Jon Gruden not there. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on in Vegas. It's got to be a lot for a team that was 3-0 just not too long ago, right? And now they're 3-2. I think that team's got to be reeling, and so I am going to pick on the dead carcass of the Raiders before it dies. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos here.
We just talked about thinking with our heads and not our heart. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle.
Oh, yeah, your heart. Okay. I'm getting it. The Seattle draft pick. I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
You know it. Yeah. Pittsburgh is -5. I think they cover. I do. I don't know why. I have no reasoning. The only reasoning I have is that Seattle's defense is pure doo-doo, like beyond doo-doo.
So is Big Ben, though.
Yeah, I know. So we're going to find out who the bigger doo-doo is in this game.
That we definitely will. It will be interesting.
And I'm betting on Jamal Adams.
It's just interesting, right? Because in 2021, as we sit here, the Jets obviously have Seattle's first-round draft pick next year because of the aforementioned Jamal Adams and the trade that took place 2 years ago. So, or I guess last year it took place. But we have Geno Smith, who's filling in for an injured Russell Wilson. And now Russell Wilson obviously not playing helps that draft pick. The chances of that draft pick being a higher draft pick helps that much better. The fact that Geno Smith is the quarterback gives Jets fans a lot of confidence that that draft pick will continue to be a high draft pick. Although I will say I'm not all. I think that Seattle can can weather somewhat the storm here with Geno Smith at quarterback. I know you're not going to agree with me, Frank.
No, it depends if Chris Carson is playing.
Well, and Chris Carson is looking on track to be playing, but even if Chris Carson doesn't play, Alex Collins is an admirable back in his own right, and he's filled in well for Chris Carson in the past, and I think he can continue to do that. But I think Geno Smith is going to be in a situation where you got DK Metcalf, you've got Tyler Lockett, you know this team is going to run the football. He's athletic enough to make some plays with his legs, where I think he can actually be a more than fine quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks over these next few weeks while Russ is out. So we'll see if I'm wrong, but I'm not. I think that this draft pick from Seattle still ends up in the teens, but probably I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 17, 18, and not the top 10 pick that people are hoping for right now.
I'm hoping we could have a segment where John is wrong in the very near future.
I would love to be wrong about this. Like if we end up with 2 top 10 picks, one of them being ours and one of them being Seattle's, I mean, I would sign up for that in ink or in my own blood, like right now.
Yeah, and we get the second rounder from Carolina, so
yeah.
So it could be. It's a very important draft.
No, definitely. Last year was important, but this year, like this year's draft, and I hate to be talking about the draft already. It's not even November, but we could end up in a situation where the 2021 draft was the draft that really catapulted us, but this 2022 draft could be the one that takes this thing over the top, right? And again, they don't even have to make those draft picks, right? You could trade those for players. It gives you a lot of flexibility. So I'm excited to see what it brings. But hopefully Joe Douglas hits on more draft picks than he doesn't, because the 2020 class is not looking all that great right now. The 2021 class is having its ups and downs, but again, I'm not going to it's only week 6. They've only played 5 NFL games. I'm not going to make any drafts. Exactly. Patience. So if that is all, Frank, we will wrap this up, and we'll see y'all next week as we break down the New York Jets traveling to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots in a Week 7 showdown. There will be no game to recap, but obviously we'll be covering any news, anything that breaks in that time. Obviously, the trade deadline is fast approaching as well, so be on the lookout for that, although nothing exciting usually happens with the Jets around this time. I mean, if anything, they'll be selling, hopefully, Nathan Shepard. Hey, if you're interested, Frank is willing to broker the deal here. So if you're a team, you're interested, just call up our guy.
Call me. I got you. I got Woody's number. I got the hotline.
Hey, okay. With that being said, everybody, we love you. We appreciate you.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to us, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, however it is you're listening. If we're live on Twitch now, live on Twitter, live on YouTube, and Facebook as well. So make sure you check us out. Make sure you turn those notifications on so you know when we do go live. But it will be mostly every Tuesday at 7. Sometimes we can get a little carried away in our pre-show talk. So, but we will aim for 7 every Tuesday evening. But obviously keep up with the accounts and the Twitter account liftoff_NYJ. And make sure you're following Frankie at FrankieBots with a Z. Make sure you're following me at JR Football Nerd. Have a good one, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. And we are out of here. Peace.